So you're new to 3D printing, eh? Well, maybe you want a setup as good as this, clearly. Um, so this is what you kind of need to know if you're like fully fresh and new into 3D printing. First, let's start off with the printers. We have something as beautiful as this Bambu Lab A1 Mini. And then we have a Creality Ender 3. Let's go a bit in depth here. You will probably be shown the Ender 3 very commonly. The Ender 3, in my experience, as you can see I have two, is not good. Do not use the Ender 3D printer. I had it for like a year. This one I worked on it, tried fixing it, and then I eventually just like gave up. It was way too much work. It constantly breaks down, and then I moved to this Bambu Lab. Main issues I had was the extruder being difficult. It will constantly break down, and the whole printer is sometimes breaking down. Leveling is annoying, and that stuff. If you are fully fresh, I could not recommend you more the Bambu Lab A1 Mini or just any Bambu Lab printer. Go for one of those printers. They are so consistent and so like new 3D printer person friendly that it is just, please invest into Bambu Lab, bro. It's just the best. Now, that is not to say Creality is like a bad company or is bad at making 3D printers, but just from my experience with the Ender 3, it is tragic. But you know, if you're like more experienced user with 3D printers, there's definitely some good 3D printers they make, and other 3D printers you can look beyond just Bambu Lab. There are other companies that make magnificent 3D printers. You just have to really look for it and know the space really well. Well, for Bambu Lab, it's just really trustworthy. It's the greatest place to start out with. Um, the one nice thing that the Ender 3 does bring, if you are starting out, is you'll feel very hands-on, as like you're gonna have to fix everything, and by fixing everything, you're gonna learn how everything works pretty well. Well, you know, if you just jump into the Bambu Lab, you're almost never gonna fix it, except for the extruder. Sometimes I have my cover off. That's just because I don't know, I had to fix it a tiny bit a few times. Where you'll just have to like get a new extruder every now and again if you like make a mistake and you like break the wires or something. But that's the thing with my experience with this Bambu Lab printer. I've had it for like a year and a half to 2 years almost. I don't feel like the printer broke on me, but I broke on the printer. Like, because of the extruder, I feel like it was my mistake that I broke the extruder rather than the printer, because it was just this one stupid print and it got everything messed up and I was just trying something new. So definitely go for a Bambu Lab printer. Now you have your amazing Bambu Lab printer, everything built, you have it ready to print. Now what? It's honestly really easy to set up with your computer and stuff. And with other printers, there's always guides for setting up. Setting up is the easy part. The main knowledge you're gonna need to know is honestly the extruder and then other stuff. The extruder is, in in my experience, the main thing that'll ever break on you. Where this is the part that just feeds in filament and then it goes through the hot thing here. Never touch this while it's printing, as you never touch your printer while it's printing. But it'll be super hot, melts it, and then, you know, prints. This will commonly break because of clogging or something isn't correctly put in, or there's just so many reasons why your extruder could break. So it's good to like have knowledge on that. From my experience with the extruder breaking, first check if the tubing is all correct. Of course, that's easy. Then here, make sure there's a clear path. Then make sure the nozzle is like fully clean, and if you have to clean it out, you just get this like tiny metal rod thingy, like stick it up here and make sure it's like super hot, and then maybe you could get it out. Or you have to do what's called a cold pull, where you have the nozzle heated up, then you have to take it out and have like a bit of filament in there, and then wait for it to cool down, but cool down just enough where you can still like pull it out, and then just yank it out, and then it should like pull out whatever debris stuff that's clogging your nozzle, and hopefully it'll be fixed. Next, we have the bed. The bed I've never had issues with, but like with other 3D printers such as the Ender 3, I had issues with leveling. Thankfully, with Bambu Lab, you'll never have to figure out what leveling is. That's basically like bring your nozzle thingy down, and just so it knows where it should be printing the first layer and stuff. The first layer is the most important part of 3D printing ever. If you're just starting out, always monitor your first layer. And even if you're like a veteran, you should still be monitoring your first layer every single time, because it's crucial. That's like the make or break if your print is going to be good or not. So make sure you're checking that. But that's basically it for the bed. You have to make sure that it's like leveled and that your first layer is good. That's really it. Something I've discovered with the A1 Mini is that you have to like lubricate these rails. So, you know, there's of course like differences for every 3D printer where they'll have their own stuff. So for here, you're gonna have to lubricate every now and again, make sure it's smooth. But honestly, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but it's still good to do. Make sure, you know, your printer's in high quality. For me, this printer, I bought it with the AMS Lite, which just holds 4 rolls of filament, and you can print with multiple colors. Wow, very nice, fancy. And yeah, I'm very happy with the A1 Mini. I highly recommend it, and any Bambu Lab product. Just please save your time, the money and time, and get yourself a Bambu Lab. This is a catastrophe. If you do get a 3D printer, you should probably learn how to 3D model, and then, you know, figure out whatever you want to make, because there's not always going to be an online model for it. And also, if you just want to get a 3D printer, just to 3D print whatever fidget toy or small stuff, there's like businesses online where you could just like ask them to 3D print something and then they'll send it to you, which is, you know, if you just want a few small things, it's so much better than getting a 3D printer. For me, I got a 3D printer because I have like my own passion projects that I have a lot of stuff that I have to 3D print, and it's a lengthy amount of time. So I found just getting myself a 3D printer is just so much better. But definitely, if you get a 3D printer, you should know how to 3D model. Besides that, there's other guides online on like specific details you have to look into while you're like, if your printer breaks or if you're still looking into a printer. Definitely before you get your 3D printer, look into it, every single detail of it, look at other reviews of it, and so on. I originally just got the Ender 3 because, I don't know, it looked like a printer that works. And then afterwards I looked in and I was like, oh shoot, this is like trash. So definitely look into that. Main takeaway, get Bambu Lab, please.